we've had to make adjustments throughout the year. Where some things, the first year, Jay took off, so we felt like our best chance to win games that year was to make some adjustments, and we went to the kind of huddle in and really running the football, a high percentage of the time, and we used play action pass. And the next year, we had a specific way we wanted to do things, and then we had to change some things around. Just with the injury situation, went to Ryan, it kind of we were changing in the middle of training camp.
Can you give us a little bit of a scouting report on each of the rookie tight ends that were selected, and a little bit of one into the philosophy of doubling down at the position?
Well, we like the group that we have here. We just wanted to add to it, and the way that Chris really had the board stacked, it worked out in our favor as far as Mike being available, and we kind of emphasize that position of a pass catching type tight end that can win one-on-one matchups versus safeties and linebackers, and it was the right time for us, and we felt like he was the best guy at that pick for us, and we thought it was a good addition. And we get later into the draft, and all of a sudden Durham's there, and we were interested, and we were high on him, and we weren't sure where he was really going to be. And if you kind of fall to that spot, and when he did, we felt like that was a guy that we knew had extreme value as far as his blocking and run and pass protection. But we felt like he was a better route runner than a lot of people were giving him credit for. And we felt like his production could be something that we value a lot here, especially with what he showed in the run game.
I'm surprised where Minka was available.
When all four quarterbacks went, I mean, we knew somebody that we liked. If all four quarterbacks went, we were going to be in good shape.
How much of an impact do you see him making on the defense?
I mean, we'll see how this goes. I mean, they're not going to be here for a little bit. This afternoon sometime or tonight. So that's just going to be the start of the process. We're going to have to see how everything shakes out, and we'll get the best 11 players on the field.
You've made some kind of funny comments at times about Kenny Drake. What's different about him right now compared to when you first got him in the organization?
I think he's matured a lot. Just whether it be the playbook, just him personally. When you're in this league, after that you get through that first year, the second year sometimes there's a little bit of a feeling out process. You're trying to figure out kind of, who are you? You're starting to get older, and you really realize this is a job, and it's different than college. And I think it's, I see a different guy, the way he prepares, knowing the situation he's coming into this year, and it's been a good process for him to watch his maturity level both on and off the field, and I think we just have a guy that's really looking to bust out.
I feel like I've heard a ton of running backs, not just here but everywhere, talk about wanting to become factors in the passing game. How do you make that happen? What determines whether that actually materializes or not?
Well, I mean, you want to be able to catch the ball. That's a good start for it. So, it depends. Some guys make a living just catching checkdowns and being able to get yards after catch. Some guys are able to flex out and get one-on-one matchups. I think we got a guy that can do multiple things. You can put him in the slot if you wanted to. You can use him in empty. You can use him from the backfield. He just can create a lot of different matchups. He has a really good feel for a lot of different types of routes, there's a lot of value there because now linebackers, when they cover him, they're not really sure what he's going to do. He's not tied into one thing or two things.
How do you feel about coming out of the draft without a quarterback, and how does your confidence in fails kind of tie into that?
There's a lot of confidence as far as the guys that we have here right now, and we did a good job as far as lining up what we thought was, the quarterback rankings, the way we had them. We felt like those guys were going to go before 11, and we knew that was probably going to be the case, and we felt good with what we had to start with. Ryan starting, and then Brock and David competing for that number 2 spot. Now adding Bryce, that's going to be an interesting competition because really we're going to just kind of see how it all kind of works out for us.
What was it about Brock that made you say this is worth a continued investment?
You know, I probably took longer than everybody else. You know, when we started the free agency process, you know, guys were talking about the fact that he's 27 years old. He's played for you before. You were part of the guys that drafted him. You know him well. He wants to be here. You know, they were almost selling me, and I really had to go through things and just make sure that he was good, you know, getting back with me and understanding the situation we were in and kind of what he was going to be competing for. And, you know, I didn't know where his money was. You know, those guys were kind of keeping me, up to date with all that. And, you know, but just hearing him and where he was mentally and what he wanted to accomplish and how he kind of wanted to get his career kind of rolling again. And, you know, after we had that conversation and we got him in the building and, you know, everybody really liked him and I felt good about it, and we ended up kind of making that move. And ever since then, it's just I'm seeing the same guy that I saw in his younger years.
Nobody cares that Brock is in a private situation considering how much money he's made past 2 years. But what do you think when a quarterback is put through that kind of ringer, it does to them emotionally and confidence-wise?
Well, it can hurt you. You know, if you're mentally weak, you can, you know, it can go one direction and it could be a bad one. And I've known him since he was 20 years old, and I've seen this kid have to sit behind a Hall of Famer, which, you know, it's a good thing and a bad thing sometimes. And, you know, he got an opportunity. He did some good things when he got to play in Denver, and things didn't quite go, you know, the way he wanted to in Houston. You know, has a quick stop in Cleveland, and now being here, I just see a guy that's excited. He's enjoyed kind of getting back in this offense, and the way that we're coaching him right now, I think he just enjoys that whole process.
Are you comfortable with Osweiler as your starter if Ryan can't be, or if something terrible happens?
Well, it depends which one of those guys end up winning the number 2 job out. But those guys wouldn't be on the roster if I wasn't. I am comfortable. I'm comfortable with the 2 guys that, between David and Brock, I'm comfortable. And if I wasn't, then we'd have somebody else here.
Right, so my question was, if something terrible happens, would you have to bring in another?
No.
Guy?
Nope.
Like last year?
Nope.
Going back to Fitzpatrick for a second, and the way he may fit into the secondary, a lot has been talking about possibly TJ being a hybrid player, linebacker. How do you see that playing out, and how do you see him embracing or not embracing that kind of role?
I mean, he's playing safety. And if we have to make adjustments somewhere, he's not moving the linebacker. He's going to be a safety, and then we're going to figure out a way to get our best 11 players on the field. And kind of how it all plays out, I can't tell you right now. Because what you think right now and what it ends up being in the first week of the season can change quickly. And we learned that last year on both sides of the ball. So you keep working guys in the positions that you think fit them best, and then when things start sorting themselves out and then you have to make an adjustment, then you make it then.
Adam, it's still very, very early in the offseason program, but how would you describe how Ryan has looked, and how would you describe his mindset?
His mindset's, I mean, I haven't seen a change. I've seen a guy that's very confident. I know he's excited to get back out there. I know us as coaches, we were excited to have him out there. It's just really smooth with the operation that we've been able to do as far as what we're doing in practice or those throwing sessions. You know, it just feels smooth, and you know has a great relationship with all those guys to where the communication is at a high level right now, and you know he looks good to me, but at the same time he still has to go through all those steps of, you know, with the doctors, with our trainers. You know, we're just going through kind of the process of it all right now. I know nobody wants to hear that, but I mean, that's just what it is.
Are you confident the pieces you have on defense will make this so much better than it was last year?
I think so. I think we're looking at a group that's looking to play a good team defense, and you know the way that our coaches are doing things right now, I really liked what I've been seeing and you know on air.
Is there going to be a scheme change on defense?
No.
There's going to be personnel against
It just-
defense and ends inside.
And we're looking to stop the offense.
Adam, how's your comfort zone right now and how the offensive line has come together?
It's, you know, we added some pieces there, and we got some guys returning, kind of made some changes, a couple, unexpectedly some opportunities came up, and I thought Mike and Chris did a good job of jumping on those. And, they're not easy decisions all the time. When you have the relationships you have with certain guys, it not really that fun to go through. But we had to make the right decisions for our organization, and that's what we did. And right now, I feel like that group's coming together good, and it's good to feel like you have multiple options with if somebody goes down, who your next guy is coming up, and feel like you have some depth there.
What did you like about the film on that Arizona State running back Balaj?
He's a big man that runs fast and he can catch the ball well, and he really has all the things that you're looking for in an all-around back. And it'll be fun to see kind of how he progresses and how things go. How quick he learns everything and how he fits in with the group. So you just kind of leave that. It's just that open competition. You just want to try to create as much competition in practice as possible. And when we get to the preseason, see who kind of really steps up and kind of pushes himself to the forefront. And then when we get in the season, we'll figure out the best way to use everybody.
Yeah, what sort of impact do you see any of having in this offense and the experience that he brings to that group?
I think when you got a guy that's been in a lot of big games, has won a lot of games, he made plays in big games, the professionalism, you just see it, the way the way he walks around, there's just something about him that guys kind of gravitate to. They kind of want to watch how he does things, the way that he'll grab guys and the younger guys follow him. It's interesting to watch just Drew and Isaiah just follow him around and kind of mimic a lot of the things that he does. And I think between him and Kenny, that both those guys kind of been around for a minute and watch those guys lead that group and have an effect on the other guys in the locker room in a positive way. That's a big thing for us.
Ideally, how does this offense look this year, and what should it be able to do?
I think it's just going to be what's the best thing to do for that particular game. And I can't tell you what the personnel groupings are going to be or who's going to be on the field. I like the fact that I feel like we got a lot of options, and it's all going to be about kind of how we can play it out to where we can spread the ball around and use guys to their strengths and create efficient plays, create explosive plays, find ways to get in the red zone more, find ways to get in the end zone.
How different are you in year 3 now as opposed to 2 years
What'd you
ago? Year 3 now for you, how different? What are you? What's?
It's year 3. It feels. I mean, when you go through one season, there's so much you learn just from that first to second year. And I think a lot of the things that we went through last year, I mean, you talk about unexpected things coming up and adjusting and trying to make sure guys are staying in line and on the same page and working forward. You have to really try to get creative, and then trying to see, staff members, are we all pulling in the same direction? Is everybody trying to accomplish the same goal? And that's why when you end that season, you have a different thought process after that second year compared to the first year. And I feel like it's more right. It feels right for us right now. I feel like we're in a good place as far as where our staff is around the building, the coaching staff, the players. It feels like we got the type of people all working in the same direction, and everybody's working for the same goal.
You also have the roster probably more in the vision that you wanted in the first 2 years. Would you say that's fair? Just to take a few years to get the roster you want?
I'd say that's fair. I mean, when I look at it, you kind of look at how does that group get along for that year? How do they work together? How do they push each other? Are they all pulling the same direction? You got guys. Are guys going to quit on you? Are they going to push forward when things get hard? I feel like the way that we're assembled right now and the way that our personnel department's kind of put that locker room together. I like our makeup right now.
Could you share why you like and you have confidence in Fales?
Yeah, I mean, I've been around them for multiple years now, and I love the fact that we were able to give them that last game of the season. And people can look at that as a throwaway game, but I know the team we were playing, that was not a throwaway game for them. I mean, that game was, we get in the playoffs or we don't. And when you're playing a game like that, you're going to get their best. And you're going to get, especially that defense, it's a well-coached defense. Those guys were playing well. And Dave had a chance to go in there and see what he could do in a real live competition, in a real game. And, when we look at it, we're able to say, he's right, this guy's wrong, who's doing the right stuff. And the things that he did in that game, I was impressed with some of the things that he did in that game. But it's a lot of the stuff you see in practice, but you don't know unless you get him in the game. And the way that his anticipation is, the way his pocket presence is, he's one of those guys, sometimes he makes plays and you're not really sure how he did that, but the game's a little slower for him. And it's fun to call plays when you got a guy like that where you just know that ball's coming out and you just better be in the right spot.
You said that you have the roster that you want, but you have rid the team, or you moved on from 3 players who you yourself have described as your top performers on your team. Now that you got better depth, arguably, how is that? Is better depth the roster that you want?
I think we wanted to create the roster, what was right fit for this locker room, for this team. And sometimes you get put in a position where you have to make a decision, whether it be free agency or you feel like you're in a situation where a number might be too high for you, or to where you got an opportunity to maybe have a player that makes less money, but you feel like the talent, it's not that big of a swing. And that's where we're at right now, where we like the makeup of our roster. I like our players. I like where our locker room is right now. I like watching these guys work. I'm excited to see these guys compete in OTAs and get this thing going in training camp, and then see how we grow as kind of the year goes on.
A couple more questions, guys. It seems kind of like Kenny Stills has been in the league forever, but he's only 26, I believe. Do you view him as your number 1 receiver, and do you think that he's someone where the arrow could still be going up for him?
See, I never get into the whole number 1 receiver thing. I'm all for guys getting open and catching the ball and creating explosive plays and getting first downs. So, I think he's the leader of that room? Yes. I think he's one of those guys where guys look up to and they watch what he does and they watch how he goes about his business, and they follow his lead. And he has when he speaks in that room and he tells guys what he thinks, and he's very open, he doesn't sugarcoat anything, I think guys respect him and they listen to what he says.
What about his performance, though? I mean, do you feel like he's entering his prime or in his prime, or is he still kind of...
I think, to me, I think there's plenty of room for improvement. I think he's done a lot of really good things for us the last 2 years. I think last year we used him in the slot quite a bit. I mean, the last 2 years, I think he's probably one of the most productive slot players there's been in the league. And he's a guy that creates explosive plays and he gets his touchdowns. He can, we hit the home run when we throw the ball to him, and he's a game changer.
What's the overall message that you have or plan to deliver to the rookies as a group?
Really, it's their job coming in this weekend is to get kind of used to the format of how we're going to do things. So when they get going on Monday, they can hit the ground running, and they're not trying to figure out, well, where do I go and how do I do this? And that's why we do it the way we do it, because it's a crash course and basically getting them ready for the end of phase 2 and then jumping into OTAs. And the way that the things that we've experienced the last two years, we've had success doing this with our young guys. They've felt to where they could get better in that phase 2 area. They've gotten better through OTAs, and then when training camp hits, that's the whole reason why you're doing it this way, is to get them as ready as you possibly can. You want to try to avoid them swimming and trying to think too much, and I think this has been something that's been really good for us.
What do they do in rookie orientation?
Well, I mean, we meet with them a ton on football, but then, Matt's got a 2-hour seminar on how to handle you guys. I mean, we go through everything, nutrition. Paloka gets them. He goes through the entire strength and conditioning program, how he wants things done. We go through every little detail, individual. If the running backs, Eric's going to take them through, here's how we're going to do individual. The linebackers, here's how we're going to do individual. So when they walk out there with the veterans, they're not lost. They've heard it. They understand why we're doing it and how we want it done. And it's just, you're eliminating any kind of the anxiety of walking out there with You know, the guys that have been in the league for 5 to 10 years, you're walking out there like, I at least know what to do. I can play fast. I don't have to think.
All right, thanks, guys.